As with most books, it seems we are going to start by making signatures. Signatures are folded pieces of paper that are stacked together and make up the body of a book. You'll want 3 to 4 sheets of folded paper per signature for this book. I'm using signatures I made from a sketch pad that I pre-cut and folded during a previous project. Often the size of the signatures will determine how big your book will be. With Coptic stitch, the next step will be to make the covers of the book. You'll want to cut 2 pieces of chipboard slightly larger than your stack of signatures. I usually make mine 1/8 of an inch larger on each edge, which means you'll cut a piece of chipboard to 1/4 inch bigger in length and width than your signatures. Once you have your cover boards, you can decide how to decorate them. I usually cover mine with cardstock. Glue a piece of cardstock to one side that is approximately 3/4 inch larger on all 4 sides than the cover board. Trim the corners and then fold and glue down the sides on what will be the inside of the cover. Then cut another piece of cardstock to 1/4 inch smaller on all 4 sides of the cover board. And then glue this sheet to the inside of the cover board. Repeat these steps for the front and back cover. If you pick some fancy cardstock and would like to finish the covers at this step, you can. Otherwise, we are going to dress these covers up and make them extra special. A little tip when you are gluing the cardstock onto the chipboard is to place the cover under some heavy books or boards until it dries. This will prevent the covers from warping along the grain of the chipboard. To make an embossed monogram for the cover, print off an enlarged letter that will fit inside the boundaries of your cover. Glue this print to a piece of chipboard with a glue stick. Then carefully cut out the letter with a sharp blade. Once it's cut out, you can peel off the paper if you can. Honestly, we're going to cover this anyway, so it's not going to matter if you can't peel off the template. Find the center of the front cover if you want it centered, and glue the monogram letter down with a white PVA glue. If you want, you can spruce up your cover further by creating a frame around the outside edge of the front cover. I cut some more chipboard to around 1/2 inch, and then trimmed them to fit. Then glued these pieces down to the front cover as well. If you want, you could repeat the step for the back cover. I decided to only frame the front cover. It's your book, make it as intricate or simple as you like. The next step is quite fun but a little bit messy. Put some parchment paper down to protect your workspace. Crumple up a piece of tissue paper, the same kind you use for gift wrap, not the kind you use to blow your nose. Pull the paper back apart and trim the paper to 2 pieces roughly the size of each cover. Spread an ample amount of glue over the front side of a cover. Use an easily spreadable white glue. Avoid one that dries too quickly. Once the cover is covered with a lot of glue, press the wrinkled tissue paper onto the cover. You'll have some time to manipulate the paper. Just be careful that you don't rip the paper and avoid pulling out all of the wrinkles. We want those to stay. Then you'll want to press more glue into the tissue paper with a brush or a sponge. Leave the covers to dry. It's a lot of glue, so it may take a while. Trim the edges and the corners. Then glue the edges to the back side of each cover, and leave them to dry once more. When the covers are fully dry, you can paint the covers any color you want. I applied a coat of gesso as a primer. I'm not sure if this is necessary, but it has worked for me to do this. I painted the covers black with an acrylic paint, going over the cover with 2 to 3 coats until I could no longer see any of the gesso. I also painted over the entirety of the back cover, which made me wonder if I needed to cover the book with cardstock when doing this tissue paper technique. Then I dry brushed over all the high points with a gold acrylic paint, going back in with a dry brushing of black where I felt I transferred too much of the gold onto the cover. Then I painted the monogram gold. I used a heat gun to speed up the drying time, especially after the black base coats. Now you can sew up your book. I'm stitching this book on the short end, so I only marked 3 holes for stitching. You may want more depending on how long the spine of your book is. I marked 1 hole in the center of the signatures and 2 more 1 inch from either end of the signatures. Clamp your signatures together for this so the spine is aligned. Then use a straight edge to transfer the marks to each signature. Clamp the covers together. I used parchment paper to protect mine. And mark where the holes will be in the covers. I place the covers on the signatures and use the marks in the signatures to mark corresponding holes into the covers. Place a piece of foam or something under the covers and punch holes through both covers. Just make sure the holes are not too close to the edge. Punch holes through the corresponding marks in each of the signatures. Stack the signatures inside the covers. Cut a piece of wax thread the width of the book's spine times as many signatures you have. Thread a curved needle. You can use a straight needle if that's all you have. This technique is just easier with a curved needle. Start with the first editing. Pam here. I had every intention of giving you a full tutorial for Coptic stitch during this video, but realized as I was editing that my camera angles are, well, poopy. Like, what do I think I'm filming here? If you would like to watch a Coptic stitch tutorial that doesn't suck, I have many on my channel. Trust me, they are way better than this, whatever this is. So I will leave you to watch some cozy bookbinding before we put the final touches on our book. At this point, you can be done and your book is complete, or you can add any additional embellishments you want. This book is for my dad, so I added some embellishments I thought suited him. If you want more instruction on Coptic stitch, I have a few more videos on the subject. Here's one you can watch right now. Until next time, thanks for watching. I'm Pam. This is Total Pamarchy, the craft channel with a little anarchy.